Hi everyone. Welcome to Insurance Insight by Policybazaar. Today is a special episode hosted by Policybazaar's business vertical, Policybazaar for Business. I'm honored to be joined by Vivek Agarwal, who is heading the controllership, strategy, and investor relationship at Simpliwork. Simpliwork was founded in 2018 in response to the growing demand for outsourcing working spaces. In a very short time, Simpliwork has become one of the largest players in this market, and their clientele boasts very large MNC players and Fortune 500 companies. Welcome, Vivek, to our show.
Thank you for having me on the show, Eva. It's a pleasure and look forward to meaningful interactions around the show.
So Vivek, my first question to you is that a typical employee, a salaried person, spends about 8 to 9 working hours or 4 to 5 working days in their office. It becomes like a second home. And we want to know what Simpliwork is doing to make these spaces comfortable and functional for these employees.
So that's a very nice question, Eva. So at Simpliwork, the first and foremost endeavor is put on the employee wellness. What we feel as a management and as an overall board, and when we discuss with the board as well, employees are put on the first and the topmost priority before anything else.
Yeah.
What we feel is any employee, if he is happy, the business will also survive to the longest extent. To cover this, we feel the office space which we build for the client or for our own employees as well becomes a very important part and parcel. Like you very well mentioned, it's a second home for the employees. And the first and foremost thing which goes into the designing of the workspaces is the design. We create a lot of vibrant atmosphere in the office. The colors which we try and use are all bright, sunny colors, because that is also something which we have learned from our research. Creates a lot of difference when employees come to the office. A lot of collaborative spaces at the end of the offices. We have a dry pantry, which is a dry cafeteria. Second and the most important thing, again, which is given a lot of focus, is on the air filter quality. Thing is, we also try and give wellness rooms to the employees. Got a lot of nursing facilities as well, so that in case any employee is not well or probably is slightly down in the work, he can go and take some rest and then come back revived and very much refreshed. So that is the overall initiative which we try and do as part of Simpliwork offerings for our employees in terms of office spaces.
My second question to you is, now that you see that there is a gaining momentum in the co-working spaces, how do you think the trend will be in the upcoming years in the space?
Given the current atmosphere and the way current workspace or the workplaces are getting traction, especially after the mandatory return to work for many of the offices, we are witnessing a very significant amount of demand. The target of achieving a 12-month potential has already been achieved at a 9-month potential level itself. So what could have been achieved in March, the rates have been able to achieve the potential in December itself. And the occupancy level currently is in the sub 80+%, which also shows the space which is being created as a part of the supply mechanism for the overall demand uptick. We are seeing that the demand uptick is so high that the supply slightly is going towards a constant end. So the trend which we are witnessing is clients spending a lot of time on the design part of the office, which goes to 2 to 3 months. We used to see earlier clients spending 30 days or so, but right now clients have started spending plus of 50 days or so to design the spaces. We are also seeing the development of the office spaces in the rural sectors, which is the grade 2 cities. For example, we are seeing a lot of demand spurt in and around Guwahati, in and around Bhubaneswar, in and around tier 2 cities. So basically when I talk about Karnataka, it's Mysore after Bangalore. When you talk about the northern part, Noida is seeing a lot of traction. All of the clienteles who are a part of Gurgaon micro market are slightly shifting their bases to Noida now. So we are seeing a mix of the trend, which is having an own office, having some part of it outsourced, which is a managed office setup, and the overall demand after both of this growing into a co-working setup as well. So pace is fast growing, a stable demand, and we are seeing a good CAGR growth in this sector as well. So overall scenario looks very positive given the return to work, collaborative work scenarios, and office space becoming a slightly known core activity for the larger management.
Right. You have been an industry veteran and have worked in different profiles in different companies. We want to know which has been your most memorable project so far.
It's been a journey in this sector. While I've looked at various sectors, looked at some part of consulting earlier in the career, and then was a part of the larger finance team, and currently heading the finance function of Simpliwork, looking into controllership, the investor relations part of it. One project which actually comes to the mind is setting up of the finance function at large. The project was divided into few aspects. One was setting up a larger team, ensuring the team is mature enough, and to grow the maturity of the team over a period of time, because development of maturity also takes some time. So we have holistically developed a finance function which was into overall accounting piece, taking care of vendor billing, issuing invoices to our clients on a real-time basis, any cash flow mechanism, setting up the investor relations piece wherein the investor data is ready on a real-time basis, because that is very important. Going for fundraising, taxation part of it. So this is something which we have developed holistically over a period of time, wherein the salaries have to go on time. At the same time, we are compliant. So given these all endeavors with compliance, taxation, overall controllership, investor relations, business finance, setting up of ERP, setting up of the overall processes of the company, was an overall project for me. Another project which comes to my mind, and I will take a minute from here, is the Diversity Work Week. So as a part of the earlier organization, to host a lot of programs wherein we used to invite LGBT community as well. Overall, this project gave me a lot of virtues or value system in terms of where you enjoy the company of other human beings and overall pass a respect and have that kind of bonhomie for the larger community at large. So these are the couple of projects which come to my mind.
As the industry is evolving and you are catering to different industries as well, how is Simpliwork coping the different dynamics of different industries such as tech or healthcare, etc.?
So when we discuss about clients, so the mandate which has flown and as a cultural atmosphere which we have built as a part of Simpliwork's DNA is the client is at the center of any value system, because if your client is happy, your business will thrive and survive. One thing which we focus a lot on to give a very aesthetically and biophilia kind of design to our clients so that it's a wow factor. Second thing is we spend a lot of amount of time and money on having a very robust feedback mechanism process into place, wherein the client can share their feedback on a real-time basis if there is any kind of issues with them as part of the Simpliwork offerings. And the third and the most important thing which we sit across and discuss with the client is the rate card approach. So the cost at which the client can buy a ergonomic furniture or any kind of interior fit outs, our cost is lot efficient because we do a lot of bulk purchases from these kind of vendors. So when we go to the client with an offering which is given on time, has got a lot of cost savings, and there is no hassle. For the client, it becomes a non-core activity.
Yeah.
And while the client can focus on their core activities, they can focus on sales and operations. So this is what Simpliwork tries and does for the client to bring that wow factor, keeping client at the core of the value system.
While dealing with multiple stakeholders and valuable assets, there are many risks that gets involved. We want to understand that how Simpliwork deal with such risk and ensure a smooth operation at the workplace.
Like I was focusing on the compliance and the risk part of it. While finance has got its own kind of risk and compliance to be dealt with certain regulators, our focus is supreme when it comes from the operations part of it. So covering the risk when you're running such a large setup becomes very, very important. So what we have done is we have a very comprehensive risk assessment tool and policy within Simpliwork. We have a policy of going only for grade A buildings. We don't go for any other building apart from grade A. When I call it grade A, these buildings are very much fire compliant. They have got the lifts up and running. And when I call lifts up and running, they have got a proper AMC system in place. We also have a very robust IT policy wherein we monitor our IT system because there is a lot of data which flows in and out of our system. So we try and cover that as well. What we've additionally done is we've also taken insurance coverages for our fixed assets. So we assess, and whenever a client goes live, we go to our service providers and take insurance coverages for the fixed assets as well. We also focus a lot on the employee wellness policies because ultimately we feel employees also are a very large part of the value system and the ecosystem, which is where taking care of them is also very, very important. So these are the overall risk coverages and insurance coverages which we do when running a large setup like Simpliwork, to ensure we have an overall preventive mechanism rather than a reactive mechanism in place.
So according to you, what is a holistic employee benefit program for the company?
Any organization survives, thrives while the client is at the value system, but how do you deliver? The delivery has to be done by the employees. So we place employees at a very, very high standard and level when it comes to the wellness programs. We would want to add a lot of OPD offerings as well, which is outpatient department offerings as well, as part of our insurance policy. We also want to add a lot of wellness programs. When it comes to wellness programs, it should be yoga, it should be having a package from the provider who can talk to the employees when the employees is in stress, because these are something which many organizations don't try and focus, and this is becoming very, very important in today's world. Another couple of items which we would want to add to the kitty is unlimited online teleconsultation and video conferencing methods. Another thing which we would want to focus is a app wherein on a real-time basis, you know where your claim is stuck, you can get your health e-cards, you can talk to the insurance provider. So it becomes a holistic offerings at the fingertips of the employees.
That's wonderful to know, Vivek. And I'm glad to say that we at Policybazaar for Business also hold the same value system for our clients. Now, you've been associated with Policybazaar for Business. How has been your journey so far?
So we have associated with Policybazaar for Business for our health and the medical offerings. And we have been satisfied in this journey with Policybazaar because it comes with a lot of tech offerings. What we have seen traditionally is you have to dial up to the insurance agent, wait for your e-cards, and the situation when your dependents are going to be admitted or they are in some kind of emergency, you're already anxious about the situation. What Policybazaar has done very differently is developing a new age tech tool. One example about Policybazaar is your e-cards at your fingertips. You just say a hi on WhatsApp to a specific number and your e-cards will just come. Just flash it before your eyes. So the association with Policybazaar for Business till date has been very meaningful because they have defined insurance needs with a lot of tech-enabled initiatives and wellness programs to back with at an overall offering level. Another offering by Policybazaar for Business is a real-time enablement of the business, wherein you can talk to your vendor partner on a real-time basis to find solutions, and especially focusing on the healthcare part of it, lot of offerings on one single app, wherein your insurance coverage is also taken care and your employee wellness is also taken care. For any company who is very focused on employee well-being initiatives, Policybazaar for Business is a great offering for the tech backed in insurance initiatives which they have developed.
Thank you, Vivek. It was a pleasure speaking with you, and we are very, very grateful for your insights. We hope to see you soon on the show again.
Thank you so much, Eva, and Policybazaar for having me on the show. Pleasure speaking, and look forward to few more meaningful podcast interactions in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.